What's going on, runners? Zero here with another video. I just wanted to talk to you guys really quick about a topic that's been on my mind recently in terms of how exactly do I go about handling my losing streaks. And I know we've all been there, we've all had them. I can definitely say I've had more than my fair share. So that's basically what I want to talk about in this video. How exactly do I go about handling my losing streaks? So first and foremost, the biggest thing that I typically try and do is I watch my gameplay back. And I know not everybody may be recording their gameplay because I just started doing content creation. So yeah, I'm constantly trying to record things. However, if you're on a console such as a PlayStation 5, you have the option to record your last 20 minutes of gameplay just by hitting the record button. Same thing for most GPUs nowadays, because that's how I started with my recording. I just essentially used my NVIDIA GPU built in and hit the record to save my last 20 minutes of gameplay. And from there, I watch it back, see exactly where the mistake is that I made. Sometimes it's me overextending, making too much noise, bouncing from POI, being too flagrant with what I'm doing, whatever the case may be. I analyze it, figure out exactly what it is that I did wrong, and then I run it back again. And it may not go right the second or third or fourth time, but that doesn't deter me because I'm reminding myself that I'm practicing something versus just going in to die. So from that perspective, I try and change the way I think about how I approach any map or game. A perfect example of this would be me analyzing my gameplay on Outpost, trying to access Pinwheel those first couple of times. I remember vividly watching Myling Games, if I'm not mistaken, and his Pinwheel videos and seeing how to find the reds and where all the cards spawned and so forth. And I would run into this issue of opening Pinwheel via conveyance, and no matter what, every single time I called down that conveyance elevator, I would get third party. It got to the point where I was like, wait a minute, I'm doing something wrong here. Let me step back for a second and maybe I can use the conveyance as a lure. So I would call down the conveyance elevator, find a place to camp for a second, and see who decides to rush me. And 9 times out of 10, I would kill maybe 1 or 2 players that decide to rush conveyance. And from that, I would then jump onto the elevator and then go up instead of just immediately run into the elevator and then wonder why I'm dying after the fact. So from that perspective, I would just again approach the problem from a different angle. But it's just a mindset thing at that point. And you know, sometimes it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you're still going to end up dying, and sometimes you're going to have to step away from that map. So again, in that particular situation on Outpost, where I felt I was dying a little bit too much for comfort, I decided to then step back and go do some contracts on Dire Marsh. And eventually, after, you know, I got a few contracts done, maybe died a little bit, I regained a little bit of confidence, got a little bit more goop in my vault. I stepped back on the Outpost and I retry the process until again I felt like I was progressing in the right direction. Whether it was me getting kills on the map or me figuring out different spawn locations for keys, just again reapproaching the problem from a different angle really helped me continue on and playing this game. Because there are again numerous times where I tell myself I should put down the controller. But it's not just the maps alone. You can also switch up the shells that you may use. So recently I just started picking up Assassin, and mind you, I hate Assassin so much just from my experience playing against him in the solo mode. However, I've been recently feeling the game has been somewhat stale for me because all I want to do is play Cryo. I kid you not, guys. All I really want to do right now is play Cryo. It's kind of bumming me out that Cryo's not open. Granted, Ranked Outpost has been fantastic. I've been doing pretty good on Ranked Outpost this week. But going back to the Assassin show, I've been realizing that Assassin is a really good entry character to Marathon, I'd say, because his mechanics are relatively easy to use. You have a safe fall, so you immediately take no fall damage and you go straight into smoke and camouflage. You go invis anytime you want to avoid bots and PvE when necessary. And your ultimate allows you to smoke a path to get out of dodge. That kit alone was just been fantastic. Whether it's been playing in solos just to mess around or going into trios just to PvP again, because that's what my thing is for Marathon. I am big on PvP in this game. Even though I may not be the best at it, I am just in love with the PvP and the gunplay in this game. Regardless, maybe Assassin isn't your show. You can still try Vandal, Destroyer. You have Triage, which, you know, Triage mains. Shout out to those. I'm a Triage main myself. Even Sentinel. There's a shell for everybody. different flavor of the week. You might be really surprised by some of what the other shells can do or have to offer. Even if you don't really play them consistently, just getting involved and messing around with them allows you to learn their kits a little bit better. That way you can then figure out how to best counterplay that kit. So in my case, for instance, I would now immediately throw on Thief Visor just to counter Assassin and Smokes, or even playing with an Assassin. If you're running Thief, for instance, a Thief Assassin combo is amazing. The amount of smokes that I've thrown just so my teammate can use his visors or so forth, or use his thermals, it's just been peak gameplay. Even if that still doesn't work, you can always go ahead and try a different game mode. Vault Breakers is still active, and in fact I've been grinding it recently just to go ahead and try and get some more dervishes to use in ranked, or just other game modes in general. Sometimes I just want to relax and chill. Again, Vault Breakers is still there, it's an option, and it's a great place to go ahead and fire your guns and warm up. I call it, priming. Sometimes you just gotta prime those guns and see how it really turns out. And if all else fails, it's okay to just go ahead and play another game for a bit. The other day I just booted up Halo 3, like I mentioned, playing with the Discord friends, or recently I'm getting back into Apex again just because the new season started. I'm trying to figure out if I want to grind the rank mode in that game or not. So for instance, what I do in Apex is I'll go to the firing range, I'll mess around with guns, I'll mess around with my sensitivity, target tracking, target acquisition, just seeing how I genuinely react in those high intensity PvP encounters. And I bring that back to Marathon. So at the end of the day, there are plenty of ways to go about this game if you are having a rough day. For me personally, those are the things that I would do. Hopefully some of them would help you out along the way. I'm sure none of them are new concepts by no means, but sometimes it's just good to hear it from a different voice. Hopefully guys, you enjoyed the video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. And remember, runners, escape will make you God.